We're live.
Oh, we're live.
We live.
All right, we live. What is good in the hood?
Week 13 in the books.
Where's the chat? All right. We are live. Welcome back to the huddle. I'm your host, Matt Wyman, alongside me, Pat McCarthy and Brady Schul. How the boys doing today?
Doing pretty good. Fun week 13. Definitely some surprises. A lot to talk about.
Pat?
I concur.
Concur. Tonight, we got an interesting Vikings game to talk about. Brady, let me get your thoughts on that. Just start off the stream.
I mean, disappointing to say the least. We didn't look good. It's becoming more and more, I don't know, that we are a second half team, which is kind of scary because, coming up this week against the Bucs, we're going to have to play 4 quarters. But at the end of the day, we pulled it out. I thought Kirk had another good game. Justin Jefferson looked great. We'll talk about him a little later. Also, Cameron Dancer with a huge game. Did you see that route that DJ Chark ran on him, the comeback route?
Yeah.
It was insane. Like, it was a mirror image of Dancer covering Chark. So that was impressive to see him continue to improve. PFF had him ranked as a 93, which is almost a perfect grade. So it's good to see those corners continue to get better. Gladney did get hurt, though. And we'll see how that plays out next week.
Yeah, I was fairly disappointed in the Vikings' effort that week, or last week. That's a team that we obviously should have put away, beat by multiple scores. It was way closer than it should have been. We got the win, and that's all that matters coming down the stretch. So it was kind of a look-ahead game, I think, because we got the Buccaneers coming up this week on a bye. They're coming off a bye, and I think we were looking ahead a bit to the Bucs, and we kind of overlooked Jaguars, and they took advantage.
Do you think the Vikings were pissed off when Laviska Shenault did the gritty after he scored, or no?
There's been a couple receivers that have done it this year.
Throughout the league, but it was against the Vikings.
I mean, Jetta, if he was mad about it, Jetta turned up and pretty much won that game for us, so he don't care. Shout out Jetta.
I thought it was interesting game. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They came out with the win. They're in the playoff picture now. They honestly have to go 2-2, and they'll probably be in.
We got the 7th seed now locked up. Well, not locked up, but
could you please beat the Saints? That'd be much appreciated.
We'll try.
Yeah. And the Packers this week with the looks. I mean, they kind of almost came back on at the end versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts came in, lit a spark. Gave up another punt return touchdown. Kind of ridiculous, but they've been 4 in the league and 2 have been given up by the Packers. But I was pretty impressed with what I saw. Aaron Rodgers continues to go on fire. Aaron Jones had a really nice long run there at the end. And the offense just looks like they're gelling. They're playing together and they're playing for each other, and I just love to see it. You boys have any thoughts on that?
No, they beat the Eagles like they should have. I mean, it looks probably a little closer than it was. But yeah, J.K. Scott. J.K. got exposed again.
Again.
Yes.
It looked
like he was on skates.
J.K. Scott, best punter and best holder in the league. He's obviously got no time to work on his tackling.
I saw Pat McAfee. He mentioned that because this is the second time it's happened where on a punt return, he's the last line of defense, and he just looks like a clown. He was saying you just need to dive, somewhere. You can't stand upright. If you miss the tackle, no one's blaming you. You're a punter. But you have to make an attempt to tackle him because he looks like an idiot on punt returns.
Yeah, I don't like this J.K. Scott slander. J.K.
You got the jersey on.
No, I got the Scott J on. The Scott color rush. But best punter in the league. Keep up the good work, my guy. That was a bomb. I'm sorry, your coverage team sucks balls. But yeah, one thing I really liked. I just noticed I talked about a little bit. I just think the offense is just really a lot of teams do this, but a lot of teams do those individual celebrations and stuff. I feel like the Packers are always just doing these team celebrations, and I really, really like watching it.
I haven't seen a a single person celebration on the Vikings yet this year. So
Yeah,
I mean,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
Isn't it fun to watch though?
yeah, for sure, it absolutely is.
Like I get like the
agree.
dances and stuff, but like just the guys all just getting together and just getting hype for each other. There's just something about it.
Thielen doing the gritty is one of the best things to watch.
It's pretty phenomenal.
You're getting roasted in the comments.
I'm sorry.
All right, should we go into the power rankings?
Yeah, we get the power rankings. Brady, why don't you just kick off? Also, we're making a change this week. We're going back to 5. We're going to talk a little more like current events because 10 was just getting way too long. And the bottom 5 of the top 10 did not deserve to be mentioned on this podcast.
Agreed. There's just too much inconsistency in the NFL right now. I'll get it kicked off. Number 5, I have the Los Angeles Rams. They are coming off a win this week versus the Cardinals, a 38-28 win against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. I thought they looked really good. I mean, I've talked about them in the previous weeks, how they kind of got a committee there in the backfield. Cam Akers has started to step up a little bit and provide kind of a first and second down running back for them. Goff played pretty well. I know we've talked about Goff extensively last week, but he was definitely listening and showed up this week. So I got the Rams.
Surprisingly enough, I also have the Rams at 5. Talked about they kind of throttled. I mean, it was a little close there, but the Cardinals were never really on top that game. They never really had the Rams where they wanted to have the Rams. They always scored on the drives they needed to score on. Yeah, Jared Goff, really good game from Jared Goff. The defense, I mean, Kyler's nicked up, but the defense contained Kyler Murray and the Cardinals offense as best they could. I think Dan Arnold had a nice 60-yard touchdown right away. Shout out Dan Arnold, but yeah. What was that for?
The comments are roasting me a little bit. So I'm gonna leave the Rams off my list. I think they look really good against the Cardinals. No, Goff played a really good game. The one thing I worry about with the Rams is how often Jared Goff throws the ball.
47 times.
I mean, they were never behind. It wasn't like he had to air it out. They were just throwing the ball. They throw the ball.
That's kind of what they did that one year, though, when they went to the Super Bowl.
Well, they had Todd Gurley.
Well, yeah, but they
threw
the ball.
But now they don't have that star running back, so it's I kind of worry about that. Like come playoff time, I guess. I don't trust Jared Goff to air it out 47 times in the playoffs. So hopefully they get a bit better run game support going on. But at my 5 spot, I've got the Buffalo Bills. They beat the 49ers. Pretty decent game early on, pulled away. I like the Bills a lot. I think they're a little bit better than the Rams, although I think they're pretty comparable teams. Josh Allen balled out. 32 completions out of 40, 375 yards, 4 touchdowns. So, yeah, he had a really good game. I think the Rams and the Bills are pretty identical teams.
I dig the Rams defense.
Well, and the Rams, to put that in perspective, they just had a lot of offensive plays. They ran 31 times for 120 and 3 touchdowns. Okay. They ran the ball quite a bit. They controlled the ball really well this game.
Yeah, I mean,
but I know what you're saying, but they did. I mean, it was like a
the time of possession was
3-2.
38-21.
Yeah, which is pretty lopsided.
But I mean, in games past, Jared Goff has thrown the ball a lot. So
against the Bucs.
Coming in at 4, I have the Packers. Like we said, a win against the Eagles this week. Aaron Rodgers is looking really good. Aaron Jones played good this last week. Seems like he was nicked up in the previous weeks. And Devonta Adams continues to show why he should be considered the number 1 receiver in the league. I watched probably 5 to 10 minutes of this, and I saw 2 or 3 Preston Smith tackles. So that was huge. But the Packers look good. I mean, it's the same thing every week. As long as that defense holds up, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to show up and give this team a chance.
I will say Preston Smith has been benched. He doesn't start anymore.
Really?
Yeah, Rashawn Gary's been starting the last couple weeks.
Wow.
I just got to throw that out on the table.
Week after you had a touchdown, didn't you have a touchdown?
Well, he didn't start that game.
Oh, okay.
Gary started that game.
Better in a backup role.
That's what I'm saying. He's literally been making more plays at his backup. Okay. And Rashawn Gary's been playing pretty well. He's been coming along. I got the Bills coming in here at 4. Josh Allen looked like Mahomes Jr. on Monday Night Football. Cole Beasley went off. Like, what didn't go off? Devin Singletary, I don't know why he's not having a breakout year like I thought he would, because he's a stud. Hopefully they give him the rock a little bit more going forward. But the Bills look scary. They handled a kind of a surging 49ers team because they're kind of getting guys back from injury. Just like the way they played on Monday night.
At 4, I'm going to have to agree with Brady. I have the Packers. They beat the Eagles. Like you said, I didn't watch too much of the game. That was the team they were supposed to beat. I think they were my 4 team last week. Aaron Rodgers continues to play well and make a case for MVP. They're playing well. Aaron Jones finally had his first good game since coming back from injury. Had a good run at the end of the game. I think it's kind of the Packers and the Saints are the class of the NFC with, you got the Bucks and the Rams kind of behind them. But yeah, the Packers continue to play well and they earned my number 4 spot this week.
One thing I wanted to say about the Packers, I noticed this after our episode last week. They signed Tavon Austin.
They did, yes.
That was interesting. They said, let's not draft an insane wide receiver in this draft class. Let's sign Tavon Austin. So,
one other thing I wanted to mention. So, in the Packer game, I think probably the biggest storyline was Jalen Hurts coming in to replace Carson Wentz.
$128 million backup.
Yep. Hurts played all right. I don't think he's an upgrade over Wentz necessarily, especially throwing the ball, but maybe pocket presence. You add some legs in the pocket. They just need a spark. They need to see what they got with them. I think Washington or New York is pretty clearly winning that division. But you never know. Maybe Jalen provides that spark and gets him over the hump, but I thought it was a decision that had to happen. You're not playing good football. I think you got to mix it up, but they got to figure something out with Wentz.
And with the Tavon Austin thing, not as much excited about Tavon Austin joining the squad as much as I'm excited that they cut Darius Shepard. I'm sorry, Darius Shepard, I'm sure you're a good guy, NDSU grad, but he has cost us 2 games in the last 2 years, and it's pretty ridiculous. I don't know if you remember last year, the Eagles game. He was pretty wide open, and he kind of slipped on the 1-yard line, and then the ball bounced off of his face mask through his hands, and the Eagles intercepted it and won the game. And this year, just passed in the Colts game, he fumbled a kick return that allowed the Colts to either get a touchdown or a field goal and stay in that football game and close the gap even further in that comeback.
Sorry, Darius. I did want to talk a little bit more about that Wentz Hurts dilemma. I'm really excited to watch Hurts. I loved watching him in college, and I think that now that he gets an opportunity here in the NFL, he's gonna turn a lot of heads. I really like him as a quarterback. But yeah, that's gonna be an interesting situation this offseason because you can't cut him. That's just way too much money.
The contract hasn't even kicked in yet.
No, it kicks in.
So they can cut him now.
No. They would hit so much cap.
Oh, yeah. But I saw an article that was saying maybe a trade to the Colts, but
the thing is they would end up still paying for him. Like if they trade him before next year, the Colts would pay almost nothing. Because it's like Langer was telling me about this, it's like mostly guaranteed money. So that the freaking Eagles would still have to pay it anyways.
So yeah, he's stuck on Eagles.
I think they can get rid of him in 2 years from now.
Yeah, so I think I was listening to something earlier, and they said after 2022 they can release him. They have that team option. But yeah, looking at the Colts, Phil Rivers, if he plays another year, I think he limits the Colts. Carson Wentz, Jacoby Brissett, I don't know. But one of the problems is Philly is the lack of weapons and the lack of offensive line. Their offensive line is extremely banged up right now, and Carson Wentz is running for his life. You bring him to Indianapolis, you got a great O-line, and then you have Jonathan Taylor. Well, honestly, they have 3 good backs. Marlon Mack comes back, Nakeem Hines, and then you got T.Y., an emerging wide receiver, and Michael Pittman, and then a great defense. That's going to be a steady or a steep price to pay for Wentz, although like you mentioned, the Eagles would probably pay for most of it. But I think that's a great fit in Indy. I think
I love Wentz. I know he's having a terrible year, but I still believe in the guy.
Yeah, he was an MVP.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm saying.
When the O-line was healthy, when the defense was good, and now both of those things have changed, and he hasn't really gotten any help around him since that MVP
And he's
caliber
gritty.
season.
Just to talk about the numbers a little more. So the potential out is 2022. He'd be paid 3 years, $81 million, and it'd be $24 million in dead cap, and then it's $66 million due at signing. So that's what the Eagles have to pay. Going back into the power rankings, though, at 3, I have the Saints. Do you guys know when Drew Brees is coming back?
Maybe a shot at this week.
Okay.
Probably
Yeah, I mean,
not, though.
Taysom Hill has played pretty well in his spot. It's good to see Michael Thomas start to get the ball back, mainly because of my fantasy team, but also because he is a good wide receiver, and he does help that offense. I think this is a really good team. They have a lot of good pieces to make a run. It's just a matter of if they run into the Vikings in the playoffs, which they will. And we know what happens when that happens.
I also hope that happens because that knocks off the Saints. Yeah, and the 3, I got the Packers, moving a few slots up my list. I don't really know why. I mean, they played pretty well, but again, it's the Eagles. Eagles have been trash this year. Devontae's on another level, and I think the Lizard is coming around. We already talked about it. Kamal Martin made a few really nice plays this week. I don't know if you guys saw. Really like Kamal Martin. I think he could blossom into a really fine linebacker in this league, but I've already talked quite a bit about the Packers. I'll pass it on to Pat.
Yeah, so at 3, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously coming off a loss to the Washington Redskins on Monday Night Football. The Washington football team. Sorry. Yeah, they looked pretty pedestrian on.
Hey,
Oh, what's up?
Let's go, Philip. Yes.
Steelers look. Oh, perfect time, Philip. I know you hate the Steelers, so. Yeah, they look pretty pedestrian on offense. They couldn't get a lot going. The Washington football team defense is legit. That's a very good defense, and they held the Steelers to 17 points. That being said, the Steelers gave up 23 to an Alex Smith led. No, he's been good, but Alex Smith led offense with Antonio Gibson going out pretty early in the game. So that was a disappointing loss. They had a shot to go undefeated. Obviously, that's no more. Yeah, the Steelers, that was a terrible, terrible game. And they haven't really played that many teams outside of the Titans. The Titans.
The Ravens once pretty
full
strength Ravens.
Yeah. So, they've played 2 good teams, and then they lose to the Washington football team, who's not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. But, that was just disappointing. I expected more from them. I expected to win the game, although I thought it was going to be close. But, yeah, the offense looks shaky.
Yeah, and Philip, I left the Steelers off my top 5 this week. I just thought you'd like to know that one.
I'm sorry, Philip, but coming in at 2 for me, I got the Steelers. Wow. It's going to take more than one loss to tell me that they're a fluke. Good teams lose. It happens. There was a fluke interception that costed them big time. TJ Watt really messed up. He literally – did you guys see that picture?
No, I didn't. What picture?
He was on all fours. The football was right below him, and he didn't recover it. It was insane.
Dude, stuff happens in those piles.
But one thing I saw, it was a tweet. It was the Chiefs' opponents' combined record and the Steelers' opponents' combined record, and they were the same. But no one's talking about that, so just to bring that up. But it's one loss. They have the best record in the league. I mean, their defense has taken a lot of hits. There's a Bud Dupree who just got hurt. And then they had Spillane, who was filling in for someone and playing really well, and he went down in that game. I'm just not ready to think the Steelers are a fluke. We'll see down the stretch here when they play the Ravens again, and the Ravens are at full strength minus Davis because he's out for the year. But yeah, I got Steelers at 2.
Steelers got Bills this week.
It's a big game.
Sunday Night Football.
Philip, like we said, the football team's defense is legit, and Alex Smith is playing very good football, not just this week.
Fair enough. So slotting in my 2 spot, I got the New Orleans Saints. I think it was pretty clear here. Pretty clear spot here. I guess, boys disagree, or at least Brady disagrees. I got the New Orleans Saints here at 2. I saw a stat, last 2 years, they haven't lost when Breeze has been out. It's pretty impressive. They've had Teddy and Taysom in there. Taysom looked like a freaking quarterback out there this week. But, I mean, they had a close game with the Falcons. But the Falcons are a pretty talented football team, and they can put together a decent game every once in a while, especially with Younghoe Koo just leading the way out there for the boys. Playing phenomenal. Hasn't missed a kick past 50 yards yet. Keep it up, Younghoe Koo. You're by far the best player on both my fantasy teams, and they're both trash, but you're gold in the rough.
Yeah, I also have the Saints at 2. I think any other pick here is asinine. The Saints are playing really good football.
Pat, can you define that word for me?
Asinine?
Yeah.
I believe it's crazy. Someone can fact check me on
Let
that.
me look it up.
So yeah, the Saints at 2.
Extremely stupid.
Or foolish.
There you go. Still applies. Yeah, the Saints, like you said, Brady, Taysom Hill like you said, Matt, sorry. Taysom Hill looked like a legit quarterback. He hadn't had a passing touchdown going into this week. I think he fixed that with 2 this week against the Falcons.
It's like a couple.
Yeah, you're starting a guy that is not really a quarterback, although he has quarterbacking experience, and you're still winning games, and the Falcons are a division rival. That's not an easy game, no matter how bad the Falcons are. Division rivals always play close. Yeah, I was really impressed by the Saints. I was really impressed by the Saints, and I think they're going to keep it going. They're the best team in the NFC right now. They got a cake pop matchup against the Eagles, so I don't expect Drew Brees to be coming back this week. But yeah, I think they've got the number 1 seed right now, and I can expect them to continue keeping that spot.
Coming in at 1 for me, I got the Chiefs. Weird decision to activate Edwards-Helaire and then not play him a single snap, but it was good to see Le'Veon get back there and be that lead back for that game. They didn't look great, that's for sure. There was definitely an opportunity. Who'd they even play?
Dude, they played the Broncos.
There was an opportunity for the Broncos to
Really good one.
to win that game, but I'm not worried about them, honestly. As long as Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey are playing, those two are an elite combo, and they prove it every week.
Yeah, close game, but I mean, Chiefs are the Chiefs. I saw early in the third quarter there, or late in the third quarter, the Broncos tried to chase points to make it like a 6-point. I don't know what they're doing. They're chasing points early, went for 2, didn't get it. Then they were down 3 instead of being down 2. Could have cost them the game, but I mean, they wouldn't have won either way. But that kind of stuff always just makes me upset. And this Broncos team's coming along a little bit. They're being competitive. I just wish Courtland Sutton was healthy because I really like watching Courtland Sutton out there play. And I think he is just a very key component in that offense that they're going to need going forward if Drew Lock is going to be the guy there.
Yeah, obviously I have the Chiefs as well. You look at the 3 games that they've really struggled in this year. It's been 2 against the Raiders, 1 of them they lost, and 1 against the Broncos. Those are all AFC West opponents, and like I just mentioned, division games are always really tough. I don't see the Chiefs really struggling. I mean, they beat the Bills. They beat up the Bills a few weeks ago. They're dominating everyone they play outside of their division. And yeah, it was a bit of a scare against the Broncos. I didn't really doubt that they would win, though. I always kind of thought they would win, even though they were losing, I think, at the half. Yeah, Chiefs at number 1. I think they're the best team by far. I mean, it's not even
their
close.
Super Bowl to lose.
Yeah, right.
I saw they said someone said last year at this time they were 8-4 and they won the Super Bowl, and now
they had 4 losses.
Well, Mahomes got hurt.
Oh,
It's kind of misleading.
Matt Moore.
Matt Moore, the high school gym teacher, he went out there, did his best, but I mean, they're 11-1. Like, they're healthy. They have a better running back this year. I mean, playoff Damien's pretty good, but better running back tandem. Yeah. How about that Tyreek Hill touchdown that he just had no idea that he caught?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
And he just sent the punt team out there and punted with like 15 seconds on the play clock. I don't know. Some people, man.
I mean,
People up top got to take care of that shit.
Seriously.
I think it's a hard situation because Tyreek didn't think he caught it, so you're not even thinking. You're like, oh, okay.
Everything up top,
Yeah,
Just
I
calm
mean,
down. Hold on a sec. We got to check this. You know.
I mean, I think it's a very, very tough situation to. I mean, I don't know. It was weird. if Tyreek was like had any reaction, then I've been like, yeah, he literally stood up, tossed the ball back, and ran to the sideline.
He actually like beat himself up a little bit for like not
Yeah,
catching it.
because you saw Andy Reid go over there. He's like, why didn't you tell me? Or I don't know what he said, but Tyreek was like, I had no idea. But yeah, that was really interesting. Should we go into the awards?
Yeah, let's hit the awards.
All right, so MVP this week, I got Baker Mayfield, 25 for 33, 334 yards and 4 touchdowns. A lot of credit to Kevin Stefanski. He's doing a lot of interesting things with this offense, and Baker has been playing really well, and so have the Browns, so that was good to see. Oh, Jack Levine is on? Let's go.
Yeah, player of the week for me, I got Josh Allen, throwing for 300 plus 4 touchdowns on Monday Night Football. Lighting up the reinvented 49ers defense with Richard Sherman back. It was just it looked like the beginning of the season Josh Allen, and if that Josh Allen's back the rest of the year, they're going to be dangerous, and they're going to have a phenomenal AFC Championship game against the Steelers.
Yeah, you guys kind of mentioned the 2 glaring MVPs, so I'll just go with a bit of more of an obscure one. Darren Waller had a game. 13 catches, 200 yards, 2 tutties against the Jets. Yes, they played the Jets, but that was a really close game, and they needed all of Darren Waller's help to stay in it and eventually win it. He played really well, and that's cool to see a tight end get over 200 yards. That doesn't happen very often. So Darren Waller is my MVP of the week, and let's hop into rookie of the week. Or we got a question?
Thoughts on Hollywood Brown and the Ravens offense?
Thoughts on the Raven offense. They played the Cowboys. And then secondly, Lamar had like his second good game of the season. I didn't take any stock in that game. Hollywood Brown, yeah, he played well. Lamar played well. I think Lamar threw for 100 yards though.
Yeah, but he ran for quite a bit.
I mean, it's the Cowboys. I don't put much stock into it. They've got to make up ground, and they needed a game like this. They needed to get the offense clicking if they want to make the playoffs. So, I mean, yeah, they look good tonight. I don't take much stock into it, but what do you guys think?
Coming into this year, I really thought Hollywood Brown was going to step up into that number 1 wide receiver role. Yeah. Hollywood Brown, I was like coming in. I'm like, this guy, I wanted in fantasy. I thought he was going to break out this year because Lamar Jackson led the lead in throwing touchdowns last year. I thought it was going to be a good passing offense, and he's going to get a lot of catches. That guy cannot get separation. I've been watching him this year. He has been struggling to get open. And, I mean, we've talked about Lamar quite a bit on here and how he's struggling. I mean, he's obviously still an elite quarterback in the NFL, but he has had a terrible year. Well, not terrible. He's had a terrible year compared to last year, which is hard to live up to considering it was a unanimous MVP season. But it's the Cowboys. I agree with that. Don't take much stock into it. They got to win 2 out of 4 probably to get in the playoffs, 3 out of 4 to get in the playoffs. So I think I think they're going to get in. I just don't know if they'll be able to make noise against one of those upper teams.
Yeah, I think it just revolves around how well Lamar is playing. Yeah, he definitely looked good. I thought there was definitely some plays that he made some big mistakes on, but as long as Lamar's just got to start playing better, and the offense will play better in return. The run game looked really good this week with Gus Edwards, Lamar, and J.K. Dobbins. All of them averaged at least 6 yards, which was pretty impressive.
We got another little thing here. Philip is.
We'll address that when we'll get to the awards, and we'll address Philip's question.
Okay, we'll address your question in a few minutes, Philip. We just got to start the awards real quickly. Go ahead, Pat.
For my rookie of the week, went a little biased here. I got Cam Dantzler of the Minnesota Vikings. He's been having a really good year, actually. And we need young corners to step up for the Vikings. He had an interception, forced fumble, and he recovered his own fumble, I believe. So, yeah, really good game from Dantzler. He's kind of emerged as, sadly, our number 1 corner. But, yeah, he's playing well. I was really impressed by him, and he probably won us the game. So, shout out Cam Dantzler for a huge game.
Yeah, I got Justin Jefferson here. I think it's a pretty I don't know. I thought it was a pretty clear cut. I liked the Dantzler pick, switching up, but JJ went for 120 and a touchdown and had some pretty phenomenal routes. I would like to throw in there too, though. I wanted to pick Chase Young, but he didn't really stuff the stat sheet very much this week. But if you watch that game, he played very well, and it was a key piece in that win.
A Pro Football Focus type game.
Fair, that would be fair enough to say it was a Pro Football Focus type game.
I got Justin Jefferson as well. 9 catches, over 100 yards. Looked really good, and watching him run some of those routes and just the releases that he has off the line is pretty insane. So I got Justin Jefferson going here.
Let's hop into clutch player. This is kind of a different opinion from me, but I'm going to take Colt McCoy. He didn't have a spectacular game, 13 for 22, 105 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. They went on the road to face the Seahawks, and he had to back up Daniel Jones, so he started this week. And I thought he kind of just clutched up, and the offense didn't do a whole lot. It was a pretty low-scoring game. But to come in, you need this win to keep pace with the football team. I think that's pretty clutch to me. I mean, he hasn't played football in a while. So for him to step up and lead his team to a victory, that was clutch to me.
Yeah, that's a nice pick there. I went with Henry Ruggs, who's had kind of somewhat of a disappointing rookie season, considering he was the first wide receiver. He was the first wide receiver taken, right? Yep. First wide receiver taken, only has about 20 catches, a couple hundred yards, but had that game winner versus the measly Jets, but a game winner nonetheless. I bet you MVS would have dropped that. So I think it was pretty clutch of him just to get open and hang on to that thing.
I got Alex Smith as my college player of the week. Showed up in a really important game, especially with the way that division's going. He looked really good. And did you guys see when he got cleated in the leg?
The bloody sock?
Dude, it was like
That was
a
his other
lot
leg,
of
though.
blood. That was crazy. But yeah, I had him coming in as my clutch player of the week. It's been really fun, I think, for everyone that watches the NFL, that plays in the NFL, to see Alex Smith succeed after what he's been through.
Also, if you think Big Ben should be comeback player of the year, I mean, I don't know what to say to you. I know he's having a great comeback, but I think Alex Smith is far and above Big Ben.
So let's do choke artist of the week. I think I have the same as Brady, but it's Greg Williams, right? Yeah. Defensive coordinator for the Jets, former defensive coordinator of the Jets, got fired after that Ravens game. I think they were running cover 0 or cover 1. They rushed 7. You leave Ruggs, one of the fastest players in the NFL, one-on-one on the sideline with one of your corners, and he just gives him like a little double move, and he's 10 yards past the corner for an easy touchdown. Philip had a question in the chat if the NFL is rigged after that game. Philip, I don't know what the hell happened. Greg Williams got fired. I don't know if it was intentional, like they were giving the Raiders a chance so that they don't mess up the tanking for Trevor Lawrence. I don't know what it was, but that was a horrendous play call. I don't think they were rigging it in favor of the Raiders, if that's what you mean. But were they fixing it for the Jets to get Trevor Lawrence? I don't know. I mean, they don't want Jacksonville to get him, I'm sure, but the Jets, yeah, they're decent sized market. I mean, they're second in New York to the Giants, obviously, but I don't think it was rigged. I think Greg Williams is literally that bad. He brings the blitz all the time. You want to look through his record. This is something that he does. He brings the blitz in bad situations, and it usually comes to burn him. Is it fixed? I don't know. I just thought it was a terrible call.
Yeah, I had the Jets D also as the choke of the week. I also don't think the NFL is fixed. I think people would say that. I don't know. I understand why you're saying it, but I completely disagree. And I think as crazy as it sounds, like I told you guys before the podcast, it happened before. Like the Cardinals blitzed 7 on Aaron Rodgers in a playoff game, down or up 7, and that's when he threw the touchdown to tie the game to Jeff Janis. Like it's happened before, and like it's somewhat of a strategy. They're kind of like, we're just going to get home and just sack them and end the game. But I do not think it's fixed. Jets choked. They could have won there. They're probably going to go 0-16 now.
I don't think it's fixed at all. I'm not saying this was a good play call. It was obviously a terrible play call. But a big thing about this play was the corners were playing very deep, and Henry Ruggs ran an out route that the corner bit on. You can't bite on that play. Like, you have to know you're covering deep. You can let that out route go, but you cannot bite on an out route in that situation. So just going off that, I mean, I don't think it's rigged in the slightest. I think it would be nearly impossible to rig a league as big as the NFL. But yeah, Greg Williams had to go. That was a terrible play call. But I actually picked a different choke of the week because I knew we were going to talk about this. Deshaun Watson fumbling the ball at like the 2-yard line when they could have scored, which would probably have been the game-winning touchdown. You just can't do that in that situation. And Deshaun Watson was pretty beat up on it on the sidelines after. I don't know if he was crying, but it looked like he was very emotional. But then some of the guys from the Colts came up after the game and talked to him, which was good to see. But
Mitch did the same thing, I'm pretty sure. I think Mitch
he did. He had a bad fumble.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. One thing I would want to, it's kind of completely random and off topic, but you ever see like those guys? Like I saw the other day. You guys see that high school football comeback in the state championship? About 20 seconds, and they scored. What was it? They scored. They were down like.
what was that?
They were down 9, and they scored a touchdown, a field goal. But that's not the point. That was crazy. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. It was some Auburn high school versus someone. But after the game, like all this happened. I see this in March Madness. Like the team that loses like falls to the ground, and instead of like celebrating as your teammates, some of these guys on the winning team will like help them up and like console them, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's such good sports." And I'm like, dude, like the last thing I would want after losing the biggest game of my life is some idiot on the other team that just won, like trying to tell me how I should feel. Like I understand the sentiment, but like go celebrate with the team. That's what you're supposed to do. That's why you want to win the game. Like I understand there's sportsmanship involved, but I just think that just bothers me every time. That'd be the last thing I'd want after losing a game like that is someone on the other team to pick me up.
I think in the NFL it's just a little bit different. It is kind of like a brotherhood, like these guys more so than you like probably would in college or high school. So you're gonna see these guys again. You know them. You have some sort of a relationship with them. I get it a little bit. I get your point though too. Like I would just run to the locker room. I don't want to talk to anyone after I lose.
Yeah, like you see that March Madness one. It's like after like Michigan hit the buzzer beater, and the guy like stops to like.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, go celebrate with your team. Like that guy doesn't want to talk to you right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get that.
His college basketball career is over.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the one we have left, we kind of did choke artist, disappointments. So let's do big brain. My big brain is also Greg Williams. He got fired for calling that play on defense, but the tank is still on for Trevor Lawrence. It would have been interesting what would have happened, the tiebreaker between the Jaguars and the Jets for the number 1 overall pick. So Greg Williams keeps him in the hunt for Trevor Lawrence, and they still have a game advantage on the Jaguars for that pick. So that's the big brain.
Yep, that's our big brain of the week.
Pick of the week, yeah.
Oh, we move on to our big man play of the week. Okay. We got Kendall Lamb, offensive lineman for the Browns, with a receiving touchdown. Absolutely buzzing. We love seeing offensive linemen get into the end zone here. Huddle Podcast loves men over 280 pounds with the football in their hands. There's just something about it. You can't resist watching a guy rumbling down the field or catching the ball in the end zone. It's amazing. Big men get excited, spike the ball, having a blast out there.
Yeah, it was a good play call by Stefanski. I think it was like a fake hand off the Chubb, and Baker rolled out, and no one on the defense knew what was going on, and Kendall Lamb was wide open.
And yes, Jack, I did see that D lineman hit a rough, and us all playing football, I think we've all wanted to do that at some point.
We just never had the balls.
We just never, wanted to get arrested and never play football again. So, yeah. I got mine. Yeah.
That's sweet.
We didn't do
We got to do
what do we got?
Take of the week. Pat's hot take of the week.
Is it time?
No.
Lock of the week first, right? I think we have everything.
Did we hit everything? We hit all the awards?
Yeah. Well, I thought you said yours.
No,
but...
we didn't do disappointment.
Okay, we'll do disappointment. Mine is the Steelers, but not really. I mean, yeah, I'm disappointed in the Steelers, but I like Washington a lot. I think they're a really good team. They have an elite defense. Yeah, I said elite. But yeah, the Steelers, you're at home. That's one that you need to win. You lose your perfect season on that game. Yeah, I was disappointed they lost, but Washington's a good team, so it wasn't crazy.
I also had the same disappointment. Just the Steelers. It's like, you got the game you got to win. It's a 4-7 football team now, 5-7. Yeah. I mean, I like Washington too. I actually think Washington's defense is elite. I agree with you. They've been playing like it all year. It doesn't make sense to me. No one expected it, but it's happening. And it's the world we live in. I think Terry McLaurin is something special. I think he's possibly the best young wide receiver in the game right now. I know he didn't have a great game.
Or DK Metcalf. But...
Yeah, I think I'd take him over DK. I'd take him over Jetta too. I like Terry McLaurin a lot. I'll stand Terry McLaurin. Yeah.
Mine's the Steelers strictly because I hyped them up last week and then they went on the field and did that. So thank you.
Philip was
Thank you guys. Yeah, Philip was not disappointed. Philip was proud. But I think we do Pat's hot take of the week before the pick. Pat's hot take of the week.
Pat's hot take of the week.
All right, so my hot take of the week last week, it definitely needs to be addressed. We talked about it. We talked about it before the podcast, and I'm fine with what you guys said. Okay. So last week I said if Daniel Jones plays, the Giants are beating the Seahawks. And because Daniel Jones didn't play and Colt McCoy did play, I was basically betting I wasn't going to lose anything, but I had everything to gain if the Giants did win. So I'm fine that doesn't count. The sentiment was there. Yeah. I think that the Giants could have won. They obviously did. Yeah, my hot takes of the week have been actually pretty good, I would say, for being hot takes and kind of long shot takes. But yeah, so we won't count that one. We'll put that as maybe a tie.
It's like a lock.
Yeah. But my lock of the week this week. Or hot take. I got one that I don't know is going to be spicy enough for you guys, but I've got two because both of these together are flaming hot.
So they both. So is it like a parlay? Like, did that have to happen together? Because I feel like that would make it hot.
But like, if I have like a 1-1 record per week on hot takes, like I'll take that. That's pretty good.
I mean, that's like
I do think
spicy. We'll see if they're spicy enough.
Okay, yeah. So this week, I got a Thursday night football prediction. The Patriots and the Rams are playing, and I think the Patriots win this game outright. Once again, I don't trust Jared Goff all that much, and I like the Patriots. Well, the next one will be.
That's not going to get the view.
I don't think
the next one will be. Okay, it is a hot take.
It's a hot take. I don't think it's spicy enough for Pat's hot take, though.
The
Patriots.
Okay, fine. Yeah, right. Which is why I shouldn't get so hyped up on them, but I am. I think Bill Belichick, Sean McVay, we know how that goes. And then secondly, this is a game that the Patriots must win. They somehow just stumbled back into the playoff race.
I mean, they have to win every game.
Yeah, they have to pretty much win out. So, but I think the Patriots get it done against the Rams on Thursday Night Football. My second hot take. And this one hurts me, but if you just look at the schedule, and I know they kind of shit the bed this past week, I think the 49ers are going to make the playoffs. The 49ers defense is still pretty legit. Last week they lost to the Bills, gave up 34 points, so that kind of is shaky about what I just said, but the 49ers are a decent team. Mullins played all right. Their run game is decent. Their defense is pretty good. I think they can sneak into the 7th seed in the NFC, and obviously leapfrog the Cardinals. And because who do they got coming up?
The Vikings would be
the football team.
They
got the football team, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Seahawks.
There's only one game in that I'm comfortable with them winning. No problem.
They pretty
Right,
much
right.
have to
These
go
are-
This is a hot take. I like this.
Yeah.
That's fine.
This is
I don't like the take, but it's a hot take.
all of those games.
I don't know
All
about
of those
that,
games,
right?
they could lose all of those games. They could lose to the Cowboys.
The thing that's lining up to help make this hot take true is the teams that they're playing, because that Cardinals game is huge. Because if they win that like helps their playoff chances in two ways, because it takes the Cardinals out and it bumps them up.
And the Vikings have the Buccaneers and the Saints. So there's two games.
But they have.
But one thing we've noticed this year is I think the Vikings play better against good teams.
And they play the Bears, so maybe they'll lose that one. We
The
don't play well
Packers,
against
the
Bears.
Titans. I mean, I know we lost the Titans and Seahawks game, but we played some of our best football against the Titans, Seahawks, and Packers this year. Besides that first game, I mean, that's like hot sauce at Taco Bell. It's not fire, but
I thought that one was hot. I'll give it to them, bro. They they almost have to win out, and if they win 3 out of 4, probably there's a good chance to get in. But that's winning 2 out of 3. Washington, Cardinals, Seahawks. Like that's pretty hot take.
Let's do the Seahawks or the Cardinals play. Giants. I mean, according to Pat, the Cardinals have a pretty simple schedule for the
Rams and the Giants.
Dude, I think they lose 3 out of 4.
you think they lose the Giants, Niners, and Rams?
It's important to know that they are one Hail Mary away from them losing 5 straight.
I'm not arguing with you on the Cardinals.
It's going to come down to the Vikings and the Niners, and I think the Niners have an easier schedule. So, yeah, that should be interesting.
I mean, I think this week was just crazy for the NFC playoff picture. I mean, the Vikings, the Cardinals, the Washington football team / New York Giants even. I mean, the Bears and Lions are technically still in it, but they would have to pull off something pretty big. But, I mean, yeah, I guess I can ride with it. All right. Hypothetical alleged lock of the week.
Yep.
All right. So, did you guys remember what mine was last week?
No.
I tend to forget these because I don't actually do them, so they mean pretty much nothing to me.
I do not remember.
But
it was let me look at them from last week. Go up.
I can't remember. Did you have the
Matthew Heimerman retweet.
I don't know who you had last week.
all right, we'll say one.
Where's Jack?
He's doing a pick with us.
And then my hypothetical alleged lock of the week this week is the Texans -1 versus the Bears. Bears just find a way to lose games. Deshaun Watson has been playing pretty well lately, except that fumble last week. And the offense looked pretty decent. I mean, wide receiver wise, after losing Will Fuller. I mean, there was some random guy, never heard his name, like Dan Hansen or something. I don't even know the dude's name, but he played really good. Kiki Kuti played really good, and I think they won't have a problem with the Bears.
Yeah, so I'm over. Haven't hit one yet, but this is going to plan. For the 3rd week in a row, I'm going to go against the Packers. I'm going with the Detroit Lions +7.5. Last week I missed because I went Eagles +8.5. I went Eagles +8.5, and obviously they lost by more than 8.5. That's the plan. The Packers beat the Lions by more than 7.5.
All right, so we are going to be joined by a guest just to give his hypothetical alleged lock of the week. Jay Still, better known as Jay Lock. I don't know where he just went, but
We're gonna work on that.
we'll work on that.
Give me your pick.
My pick of the week, if for my hot take, I'm going to take the Patriots to beat the Rams outright. Yeah, I'm going to take them +5.
Oh my gosh, look, Jack showed up.
Hey!
Wow.
We welcome in Jack still.
Glad to be here, boys. I didn't want to be virtual. I wanted to be
Came all
in
this
person.
way.
And here.
Yeah, I'll finish my pick, Jax. Thanks for interrupting. I'm going to take the Patriots +5.5 against the Rams, and I would probably sprinkle a little money line because I think they'll win this game outright against the Rams. Jack, who's your pick for this week? And how'd you do last week? Oh, by the way, I'm 3-1-1 on the year. I won again. Saints -2.5 against the Falcons.
So I'm 1-0 this week. Took the Packers -7.5. I'm looking to continue the streak to 2-0. The Chiefs play the Dolphins. They're favored by 7.5 points. Dolphins have won 7 of the last 8. Chiefs, I believe, have only won. I don't think they've won by 7.5 over the last 4 or 5 games. But that stops this week. They beat the Dolphins by double digits. I don't think the Dolphins are going to have any answers. I think the Chiefs are going to up their red zone efficiency a little bit. So
do you think that the Dolphins are worse than the Broncos?
no, I don't think the Dolphins are worse than the Broncos. I think the Chiefs
Two different games.
The Chiefs are going to play a better game than they played against the Broncos.
Do you not think Tua is next?
I think Tua is next, but this is his first real test. I mean, they're 7 of the last 8. This is their first real test. I think he has a good game, but not good enough.
Hopefully Tua doesn't get
All right.
benched again, and then we'll
Glad to be
see
here.
what Tua has.
Thanks for coming by.
Again, this is a hypothetical. Alleged.
Lock of the week.
Nothing real is going on.
I think Jack ran here. He was kind of out of breath that whole time, but thanks for stopping in, Jack.
Back home. He's home.
This is we covered everything that we needed to cover. Oh, we're all good.
I was gonna say we could field any questions in the chat if you'd like to send some. But other than that, we're probably just gonna chill here for a second, wait for a couple, and then head out.
Check us out on Twitter at the Huddle Pod.
We're looking to hire a tweeter.
Yeah, if someone wants to tweet for us, let us know. Philip, we're looking at you.
Philip, if you want to hire to be our Twitter guy, let us know.
You won't get paid, but it'll be fun, and you can be
One
part of
day
this.
you will.
You can be part of the boys. Yeah, when we blow up, we'll pay you. Currently, though, we are not blowing up.
Or if Lamar Jackson's out there and wants to be our Twitter guy, we know Lamar is an avid listener.
Or Des Bryant, since he no longer has a job because he's not playing the rest of the year, according to Des Bryant. Okay, let's talk about that. Wait.
Oh, I got a question.
Question for Patrick. This is from Matthew Heimerman. Tua or Burrow?
This is easy. One quarterback has played good football this year. The other hasn't. Joe Burrow, no debate. Tua,
How does Tua not play good football?
because he's getting benched for Fitzmagic. Anyway, yeah, he's getting benched for Fitzmagic. Joe Burrow's hurt.
his ACL, bud.
Assuming Joe Burrow can,
Burrow died on the field.
assuming Joe Burrow can come back to the level that he is, that he was playing at earlier this season, I think he's going to be the better quarterback. I think he's the better quarterback now when he had a healthy knee, and I think he's going to be the better quarterback of the future.
So Tua, 63% completion percentage, 900 yards, 7 touchdowns, QBR of 99.4. That's tough stats.
Is he 4-1 or 3-1?
Something like that. I don't know the exact.
He's been a winner.
And he has both knees currently.
Yeah. Okay. He's getting benched still. So
He got benched one game.
okay. Yeah. I think he's the guy because like they keep winning, but Tua's not winning them the games. I guess. Like
Sure.
Joe was.
You can't say Tua's not playing good football. I mean, I just read you the stats.
I mean, he's playing pedestrian football. He's.
296 yards and a touchdown, 67 completion percentage.
Can you give me averages on like his yards per game? I genuinely want to know.
198 divided by
5.
How many games he played?
6.
Okay,
Oh
so
no, wait,
that's his
his
height.
That's his height. He is 6'0".
It's still 6 games.
Okay, so 6 games, 900 yards. That's 150, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that quick maths. Yeah, no. He doesn't have to do much.
Done what he's been asked.
He's
so far.
facilitating. I'm not, but he's not
You're
like
saying he's not. You said he's not playing good football.
And he
okay
is.
compared to Joe Burrow. Fine.
Yes. I
There you
agree.
go. There you go.
Joe Burrow's
That's
obviously having a
Yeah,
better year.
Tua's just hasn't done anything like crazy.
Like Joe
So
Burrow has. I totally agree.
yeah.
All right, moving on. We have a great question from Jake Kranz here. Will Justin Herbert be able to follow up on his season with a great second season in the league? If they fire Anthony Lynn, yes.
Yeah, I kind of on that wave too. Usually quarterbacks blossom in their second years, but it seems like he's blossoming in his first year. If Keenan Allen keeps playing the way he is, I think he definitely want to. He's got weapons all around him.
I just wanted to say I have a great amount of respect for Anthony Lynn. Watching him in Hard Knocks,
He is a buzzer.
he seems like a great guy, a coach that really cares about his team. It just seems like he's trapped Justin Herbert in like
A box.
he's in like the mediocrity box. And I just
I don't think Anthony Lynn's coaching has anything to do with Herbert. I think Herbert's having a really good year, like you said, Keenan Allen. When you have Keenan Allen,
Keenan Allen's having.
he racks up catches.
I don't know how it's
and he
still
racks up
quiet, but
yards.
Keenan Allen's having one of the best years.
Yeah.
Like wide receiver.
Keenan's been a stud. He gets Eckler back, which will only help him. A great receiving back. I don't think Anthony Lynn is hurting his.
I'd say he's hurting.
hurting
the
the
ability to win the game.
Yes, he's hurting the Chargers.
Totally.
He's got to go. I think I expect the Chargers to compete for a playoff spot next year.
Who was it that said?
It's just. Go ahead.
Who was it that said if? I don't know the individual. They said if someone was the coach of the Chargers would be a Super Bowl contending team. It was like Coward or one of those guys.
If Belichick was the coach, then they obviously.
No, it wasn't Belichick. It was someone else. I thought one of you guys told me that. But.
I don't know.
I mean, if Belichick was, the defense is good. Their defense is pretty good.
It's and they get Derwin back next year.
Yeah, I mean, they lost King.
Derwin's insane.
Derwin's
Derwin
a
is
baller.
absolutely insane.
He's a baller.
Yeah, that's a good question, though. I think. Yeah.
Thank you for the crowns,
expect
Jake.
him to. Unless he goes on a Baker Mayfield type downslide in his second year.
But Baker didn't have Baker.
I mean-
Baker didn't nearly put up these stats.
no,
Not
he's
nearly.
he's clearly the rookie.
This
of
is
the
like one of the best. This might be the best rookie quarterback season ever.
He is. He's breaking records. And what did he not? How many games did he not start?
We got a question for Brady.
Kirk-tober 2019 or Kirk-vember 2020? Kirk-vember 2020 strictly because he's showing more emotion, and there's literally nothing on this world that gets me more excited than when Kirk Cousins is just stoked on the football field. Like if you watch him and he's just like pumping his fists and screaming with the boys, it's an insane feeling that I just can't explain. But I mean, I'm a Kirk guy year round, so it doesn't matter what month it is. I love Kirk.
All right, I think
that was strictly for me.
Yeah, so Brady. I mean, Kirk's been playing really well recently.
No doubt about
Pretty
it.
phenomenal.
Fourth quarter Kirk. That's what I want. I don't want Kirk in a month. I want fourth quarter Kirk. He's the best quarterback in the fourth quarter by a long stretch. He is.
This year.
Yeah, this year. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
This year. My apologies.
Yeah, he has been pretty phenomenal.
My apologies.
Yeah, Kirk's been good. I don't know. I mean, looks like they might have some of the best weapons in the NFL if they can shore up the O-line, shore up the defense. They might make the playoffs this year, but shore those things up for next year. It could be a team to be reckoned with.
No money to do that, but anyway.
Just like draft.
Yeah, we just got to draft well. So anyway, I think that concludes everything. Like I said earlier, follow us on Twitter at the Huddle Pod. We would really appreciate that. This episode will be going up on Spotify later tonight. Yeah, we missed an episode last week. Sorry about that.
My bad, guys.
If you enjoyed listening to us, feel free to give us recommend us to a friend, and thank you very much, and we will talk to you guys next week. See ya.
See you later, guys. Thanks. Oh, wait,
Whoa. No comment.
What does it say?
What do you guys think about fantasy teams with more than one owner?
No comment.
No comment. I think you know our belief on that.
Fuck them.
But we don't. That was vulgar. I'm sorry.